Kemsley recounts son's heartbreaking medical scare. RHOBH star Dorit Kemsley is recounting her son Jagger's heartbreaking medical scare. She and her husband PK Kemsley are currently separated, which will be documented in the upcoming season. So what did the co-parents deal with concerning their son? Keep reading for more details. This has been a traumatic few years for Dorit Kemsley and her family. They were the victims of a home invasion where she was held at gunpoint. The kids were in their bedroom sleeping and her husband PK Kemsley was out of town. That left Dorit alone to handle it. And she suffered from PTSD. The robbers were never caught. And then just a short time later, she was mugged again. She was shopping and had taken out $110,000 cash. Dorit was followed, and the money was stolen from her bag, despite trying to make PK understand her struggles. He was more frustrated by her. They ended up parting ways after a very rough time. Some have claimed they were not living together longer than they stated. However, they have wanted to keep on a brave face for their kids Jagger and Phoenix. This will be shown in season 14 of RHOBH, which premieres on November 19th. That is when the true downfall of their marriage will be displayed for the world to see as they prepare to watch. That played Dorit and PK have been dealing with something far more serious. Their son Jagger 10 was just hospitalized. As it turned out, he had a septic hip, according to page 6. The fashion designer recounted the heartbreaking event in her Halloween post. Dressed as the Flintstones, she explained that Jagger had 2 surgeries in a week for a septic hip echo-up. Arthritis. This can occur when germs get into the bloodstream and infect the joints. He then spent 2 weeks in the hospital. As he recovered, many people questioned over and over who Fred Flintstone was, and it was PK Kemsley. He was tagged in the family photo and even poked fun at the repetitive comment. PK needed a laugh as he has been with his family in the hospital on October 15th. He shared this update about Jagger. Of course, viewers were worried about him, as they had seen Jagger since he was a toddler. Now he's a little man. This is horrible, but fortunately he is healing and was able to celebrate the best way possible. Totness RHOBH when it returns November 19th, and continued love to Jagger on his speedy toad to recovery. Amanda has been a professional freelance writer for over a decade, holding both a BA and an MA. Her passions include animals, iced coffee, gnomes, summer music, and Vanderpump Rules. Dorit Kemsley recalls son's heartbreaking medical scare, a mother's journey through fear and hope. Dorit Kemsley, the vivacious and ever stylish star of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, RHOBH, has always brought her bold, glamorous personality to the show. However, in recent months, a reality star has opened up about a personal story that has profoundly changed her outlook on life: the terrifying medical scare that involved her young son Jagger. For any parent, a health crisis involving their child is nothing short of catastrophic. But for Dorit and her family, the incident has become a defining moment in their journey as parents and as human beings. In a heartfelt recounting of the terrifying event, Dorit has shared her experience with fans and the public, revealing both the depths of her fear and the immense gratitude that followed. The day that changed everything. It was an ordinary day, or so it seemed. Dorit's children Jagger and Phoenix were enjoying a typical afternoon at home. Dorit and her husband, Paul PK Kemsley, were jailing their busy schedules as they often do. However, their normal routine was soon shattered when their son Jagger suddenly fell ill. What started as a mild complaint about not feeling well quickly escalated. Jagger's condition worsened rapidly, and the concerned parents soon found themselves racing to the hospital, a place no parent wants to visit unless absolutely necessary. Dee's voice shakes as she recalls how quickly things spiraled out of control, but the fear in her eyes is clear. Even in her recounting of the event, the family was thrust into the frightening world of unknown medical complications. Dorit explains that at first the doctors were unsure of the cause of Jagger's symptoms. He was experiencing high fever, dizziness, and fatigue, symptoms that could indicate any number of illnesses, from a viral infection to something more serious as they waited for answers. The uncertainty and anxiety were unbearable. There was a moment where I felt like I was losing my son. Dorit admits, her voice cracking slightly. As a mother, she had never felt so powerless. The helplessness she felt as she watched Jagger's condition worsen was indescribable for someone so used to being in control, both in her personal and professional life. This was a new level of vulnerability, and it shook her to record acting swiftly and decisively. But the first hours of Jagger's illness were a blur of fear and confusion. In situations like this, all you want is clarity, she shares. You want the doctors to know exactly what's wrong so they can fix it, but sometimes in these moments, there is no clarity, there's just the waiting. The family endured a long period of uncertainty. Every test brought new questions, but no immediate answers. It was a grueling waiting game, and Dorit reflects on how she and PK tried to hold it together for their son even as they were crumbling internally. As a parent, it's natural to want to protect your children from pain, Dorit explains. But when your child is suffering, there's this deep aching fear that I felt powerless, and I think that's the hardest part of being a parent, when you can't fix the problem. The days that followed were full of intense tests, including blood work, scans, and numerous examinations. The Kemsley's world seemed to stop in its tracks as they grappled with the uncertainty of their child's condition. Dorit admits that she had never felt such a heavy weight on her shoulders. It wasn't just her own emotions she had to contend with, but also the fear of seeing PK, typically a rock of strength, looking as uncertain and fragile as she felt. The relief of a diagnosis. Thankfully, after what felt like an eternity, the medical team was able to pinpoint the source of Jagger's symptoms. The diagnosis was a viral infection, though the specifics were still a mystery. The prognosis was much more optimistic than they had feared. Jagger's condition was serious but not life-threatening. His body just needed time and the right treatment to fight off the virus. When we finally got the diagnosis, it was a wave of relief. Dorit says, wiping away a tear, I know it could have been worse. And in that moment, I knew we were going to be okay. But that doesn't mean the fear goes away. It stays with you. In the days that followed, Jagger's health gradually improved. He returned home, and the Kemsley were able to breathe again, grateful that their worst fears had not been realized, but the emotional impact of the experience lingered. Dorit says it was a wake-up call, one that helped her realize just how fragile life is. We take so much for granted until something like this happened. She reflects, you go through the motions of your day, and you think everything is fine, but life can change in an instant. A new perspective on life for Dorit. The scare was a humbling reminder of what truly matters. It's easy, she admits, to get caught up in the superficial trappings of fame, public appearances, glamorous events, and endless social media posts. But when something like this happens, everything else fades into the background. What truly matters are the people you love and the relationships that sustain you. This has changed me, Dorit admits with conviction. I have a new perspective. I'm not sweating the small stuff anymore. When it comes to my kids, I want to be present with them in every moment, no matter what. Life is short, and I want to make the most of it. Pig 2 has reflected on how the ordeal has affected him. You can never prepare for something like this, he says. I've always prided myself on being strong and in control, but this situation showed me just how fragile life really is. All you can do is be there for your family and make sure they know you love them. Dorit has also spoken openly about how she leaned on her family and friends during this crisis. In particular, her RHOBH castmates were a tremendous support system during the ordeal. It's amazing how people can rally around you in times of crisis, she says. My friends, my family, they were there for me in ways I could never have imagined. That's the kind of support you need when you're going through something like this. Moving forward with gratitude, now the Jagger is back to his healthy, happy self. Dorit has taken steps to ensure that she and her family never lose sight of what's truly important. She's been more intentional about spending time with her children, connecting with them on a deeper level, and focusing on the joy they bring into her life. Sometimes, as a mom, you get so wrapped up in the day-to-day responsibilities of running a household and working that you forget to just be with your kids. Dorit admits, "I've been trying to take a step back, slow down, and really savor the moments with them, the smiles, the laughs, the little moments that mean everything." Dorit has also become an advocate for raising awareness about the importance of children's health and being proactive when it comes to seeking medical care. "I think sometimes we're afraid to be overly cautious," she says, "but when it comes to our kids, we have to trust our instincts. If something doesn't feel right, don't hesitate to get them checked out. It's always better to be safe than sore." In her life, Dorit recognizes the silver lining. It has brought her closer to her family, her friends, and even herself. "It's strange," she says, "but I feel stronger. I feel more connected to the people I love, and I feel like I'm living my life with a renewed sense of purpose. I'm not taking anything for granted anymore." As Dorit continues to navigate her busy life as a reality star, a wife, and a mother, she knows that the experience of Jagger's illness will always remain in the back of her mind, but it has also equipped her with a deeper sense of resilience, gratitude, and an appreciation for the little things that make life so precious. "There will always be challenges," she says, "but we face them together as a family, and that's the most important thing." In the end, this story is one of hope, perseverance, and a mother's unwavering love for her child. And for the millions of RHOBH fans who have followed her journey, it's a poignant reminder that beneath the designer, clothes, and the glamorous lifestyle, Dorit is first and foremost a mother who will do anything to protect her family.